All right, so ladies, it's so good to see you again. This has been our highest attended event yet. So this series is wildly popular, and we owe that to you. But let me introduce myself. My name is Dawn Nicole McElwain. I'm super excited to be with you today. I am the founder and CEO of this fast-growing company, Queen City Women in Business, where my business is helping you grow your business and get connected to the opportunity.
Everyone, thank you for this opportunity to be here and share more about business basics one-on-one. When I think about stepping into this experience, a lot of times we think, oh, I've been in business for a while. But the truth is, this is something you should revisit time after time again, because clarity comes in the doing. The more business you do, the more clear you'll get about the solutions that you bring to the table. So I've got about 15 minutes to share with you guys, and I've packed a lot in, so I'm going to jump right in. I'm so grateful for Don Nicole, who's going to manage the chat and jump in with anything that needs my attention. But I am going to just move forward into what it is you need to complete before you compete. And I'm going to take it to the fundamental level, because oftentimes we trip up on when someone asks us what business we're in, what problem we solve. And when we go to answer that question, we can't answer it succinctly. And that's what I want to help with today. So the very first question that I have for you to consider is, what problem am I solving? And this really is going to help you tease out your business area. Now, if you're like me, and if you're like Don Nicole, you can do a lot. You can do a lot of things. You bring so much experience to the table. You bring so much academia to the table. You bring so much to the table that you can actually accomplish with your hands and your skill set. But when you're going after competing business, you really have to ask yourself, what problem are you solving? And I'm going to show how this is so key to winning business, but I want to walk through this first. And so if you know your problem, if you know what problem you are solving, and you can answer it in a sentence of like 5 words or less, right? You got to be able to hone it in that critically to 5 words or less. Go ahead and drop in the chat what problem you actually solve. Now, if you're wondering how to answer this, you gotta consider the pain points of your target audience. You have to consider, what is it that that organization, that corporation is looking to solve, and what's being unmet right now, because he or she who solves problems is the one who gets paid. And if you can't state very clearly what problem you're solving, then this is where your work needs to begin. Now, even if you've been in business for a while, the clarity comes in the doing. And I think even in Don Nicole's testimony, we hear how she has evolved. Even Queen City Women in Business has evolved in the short period of time that I've been on the outside looking into her journey. And as you get clear, you'll be able to hit that target more succinctly. So the first question to ask yourself is, what problem am I solving? And make sure it connects to the pain point of your target. What's going unanswered for them? And if you answer that well, when you speak to them through your branding, through your content, through your messaging, through your posts, they'll know without a doubt that you are talking to them. So the first question is, what problem are you solving? Now, I don't know if anybody has dropped the answer in the chat related to that, but that's the first thing you have to begin to understand before you compete for any business, is what problem are
Denise,
you solving?
can I read some of these off?
Yes.
You know what? I want you to coach in real time, because I'm going to tell you, every time as a coach, we ask people that they give us the solution that they bring instead of the problem. And they're two different things. So watch this. I'm gonna read this so you can coach in real time. So someone, I'm not gonna put y'all on Front Street because I love you. Someone says, oh, environmental cleaning solutions. Now that's a solution. Even the word solution is, but what was the problem?
What was the problem?
What
was the problem? So when the organization is saying, I need someone to come in with an environmental cleaning solution, what problem did they have? One is related to environment, right? that this need is going unmet. Something's not clean for them. Something is not either meeting some targeted goal. So maybe in the restaurant industry where they need to hit a certain measure, they need to be 80%, 90%. What are you helping them to achieve? So the real problem is the company needs to maintain a certain cleaning standard. They either need to maintain it because of law, because of practice, or desire. So the real problem is the cleaning need and not the solution you bring to the table. And so when you go and you say, I have an environmental cleaning solution, that doesn't message to them that you can solve their problem. You need to speak to the problem you solve. Awesome. Great example.
Amen. Go ahead. I'm over here cheers and amen, and keep going.
All right. So the second thing, after you answer what problem you solve, the second thing is what unique value do you offer, right? This is your unique selling value proposition. I like to call this your secret sauce. That secret sauce can be in your approach. It can be in your specialty. It can be in your philosophy. It can be in your execution or even your outcome. So your approach, what's unique about the way that you approach it? Your specialty, how do you do it in a way that nobody else does it? It's a specialty for you. Your philosophy, are you thinking of sustainability? Are you thinking of green? Are you thinking of plant-based? Are you what is your philosophy that drives? Are you honoring women? Are you honoring diversity? What is your undergirding philosophy? Execution, do you do it fast? Are your results reliable? Execution is how you bring it about. Or outcome, I can hit 90%. I can hit 100%. What's your secret sauce? And the beauty is you don't have to check all of the boxes, so you don't have to have a unique approach or specialty or philosophy, execution, and outcome. You don't need them all, but you need at least one that brings some unique selling value proposition to the table in how you are distinguishing yourself from the other people in this space that do it. Do you do it faster? Do you do it more cost effective? Are your results more guaranteed? What is your new unique value proposition? So drop that in the track. What's unique about you? So if you do sustainable cleaning solutions, how are you different than everybody else that does sustainable cleaning solutions? How are you different than everybody else that offers accounting services? Or how are you different than everybody else who are looking to coach people in a space? What's unique about you?
So okay, they dropped some unique. They dropped some uniqueness. You wanna coach on this real fast, Denise?
Yes.
Okay, because this is good. We're loving this. So Kiara, I'm gonna call you out because it's good. Kiara says her uniqueness is that Emory Solutions, we help people thrive while they're on their medications, right? So I love that too, because we know medications make you sometimes dull. Carla says, okay, here's what we do. We combine lived experiences, bold, with evidence-based tools and techniques. So it's not just the tools and techniques, but we bring the lived experience to connect and make learning and growth relatable.
I love that. I love it because it's detailed and specific, and it's targeting a certain person. So when we talk about the first example, when she says, I am helping them value or live out on medication or whatever the scenario was, because I don't have the chat up just yet. But whatever that is, people know exactly who you're talking to. People know that you are helping those who are on medication begin to thrive in a way that the medication is weighing them down. They know exactly what your sweet spot is. On the second one, I love the evidence-based. I love that because it speaks to people who want proof in the outcome, in the number. They want to see the result happen. They know exactly that you're talking to them. I love it. Everyone who is in business needs to understand what they uniquely bring to the table to set themselves apart. And again, it could be how you do it. It could be what your philosophy or undergirding principles are. It could be about your execution or the outcomes that you can guarantee. I'm going to keep going because my time is short. So the next one is who will benefit the most? You got to know who's going to benefit from what you do. And this is where people go completely wrong, because they think when they niche down or they bring their target in, they're going to cast off somebody who might have that $1 million check. And they are like, I don't want to miss the business over here. But if you are talking to everybody, you are talking to no one. You have to know who your best client is. Now, I will tell you, everybody else will be ear hustling. And if somebody thinks they can get value for it, they'll tip in. But when you speak, you have to know exactly who you are speaking to. And everybody is not your customer for as much as you want everybody to be. And if your customer is unsure if you're talking to them, they will ignore you. And you don't want them to ignore you. So you have to think about who will benefit the most from what you bring to the table, from your unique value proposition. Who's going to win? Now, in this environment, I'm going to show you how it's the organizations, it's the companies that we are looking to connect with that are going to value you the most. I didn't say only, but they're going to value you the most. And I'm going to show you in some examples that I have that there's a lot of people who can benefit, but there is someone who is going to benefit the most. Do people know who will benefit the most from their business? Did anybody drop anything down the code?
No, okay. I think I might have scared them. Y'all, please feel free to. So I'm not going to call you out, but this is good. It's helpful.
Okay, so I have 3 examples, and this will help because I tried to cross match different businesses. So the first example is this. I help wedding professionals have success at trade shows. That's very targeted. Right? Now, she is someone who is not saying I show up to help everybody. In fact, she is not even saying I show up to help all wedding professionals. She is saying the ones who want to have success at trade shows, I help them. What's the problem she's solving? She's showing them how to land business as a vendor at a sales show. What's her unique value? She has a proven process that can be implemented in a busy sales show environment. And the third thing, who will benefit the most? And this one is interesting because the way she pitched her business is she went to the people who were putting on the sales show and said, I can help your vendors have good success. Now, you would think that she would target the vendors, but she targeted the sales show owner, because if the sales show owner has a good show because his vendors has a good show, then that means the people who came had a good experience too. So when I start talking about who can benefit the most, many people will think I need to go after the people who are having tables at the trade shows. But in this particular instance, she went after the people who were hosting and said, can I do a training for the people who are going to be at your trade show? Because if I can help them be successful, then you will be successful. Does everybody see the connecting dots there? So in this environment where Don Nicole is helping us understand how to do big business, understand how to get bigger contracts, you can go one by one to the vendor tables, or you can go to the person organizing the event and say, hey, I can help you have a great event because I can make sure those participating understand how to have success at the trade show. So hopefully that sinks. Hopefully that example sinks. I have a number 2 example, and I'm going to tell you who I peeled this off of afterwards, and they may be familiar to you. The second example I pulled out just from looking at social media says, I help organizations develop leaders by embracing individual uniqueness to create inclusive cultures. I pulled this straight off of their post. So the problem they are going after is they are developing inclusive leaders and organizations. That's their ultimate problem being solved. It's the leaders are not inclusive and the organizations are struggling with being inclusive as well. The unique value proposition is embracing individual uniqueness. And the who will benefit is the organizations that want to be more inclusive. I pulled this off of Dr. Stephanie, off her page. I pulled it directly off of what she promotes. And you can see she could say, I'm benefiting the leaders. but she's actually benefiting the organizations by reaching them with something that is going to help their leaders. So when we see messaging out there, the messaging is really to the organization that desires to be more inclusive. Understand who's going to benefit the most. Now, again, the leaders will benefit, but the organization will benefit the most. And then finally, my last example in the interest of time is this one. I connect women-owned businesses seeking to work with major organizations to supplier opportunities with federal, state, city, and corporate sectors. That's the message I pulled off. And what's the problem being solved? I'm helping women-owned businesses get access to major organizations. What's the unique value proposition? Access. Access is the unique value proposition. Who will benefit the most? Now, the women-owned businesses are absolutely going to benefit, right? But who will benefit the most is the organizations that want and need their minority supplier business needs and goals met. This comes straight from Queen City Women in Business. So when we start talking about what problem you're solving, and we start talking about what is your value proposition, the value proposition that Don Nicole has created is saying, I have all these women-owned businesses, and I know these organizations that need them, and so I am going to do what I can to access so that they can access one another. If you thought this was about you getting certified, you missed the mark. Certified is only a credential that allows the access to work for you. It's not about you getting certified. It's about you being prepared so that you can go get the business. So when you ask her what is her goal is to connect. Her goal is to connect. What's your sweet spot? So let me keep going because I only have 15 minutes. I could preach all day, but let me keep going. Helping the organization achieve and solve a problem creates a pipeline for you. So if you're trying to figure out how to create the flow, build the empire, make the money, you got to understand what problem you solve and how do you uniquely do it. Because I will tell you, in that first case of my example, there's a lot of people out there who say they can help wedding professionals, a lot of people who say they can help people at trade shows, but the combination of the two in the business that she targeted is what creates $20,000 months for that owner. Okay, in the second case, there's a lot of people who do leadership development. There is a lot. There's probably some on this call. But understanding how you uniquely solve that problem creates the pipeline. And I'll close by saying there's a lot of organizations that say they help women businesses. In fact, I was confused. I had an email come through that was talking about helping us women-owned businesses get access to corporate contracts. And I thought it was from Don Nicole. It was from some other entity. So there are a lot of people out there doing it. But I will tell you, I haven't seen anybody that has created it at the pace that I've seen it happen here. And it's because it's not just about how do you get certified or how do you get ready. It's about the access and creating the connection. So as Don Nicole mentioned, we are a business development partner. Now, if you follow me on social media, you'll be like, Denise, I don't see that because I do it exclusively for this environment, exclusively. This work I do here, I've done it before. I've done it in fact all of my career. And when I sat through Don Nicole's presentation, what I told her is I think there are people joining this community and they're not quite ready to go do big business. They need to flush out more about the business that they are in, the thing that they are imagining, how to establish the basics, right? What we talked about here. They need to tease that out. And so when I approached her, I said, I want to help with that. I want to do it exclusively for your community and help with it. So she and I teased back, there's 3 different programs. There's a Jumpstart program that's a 30-day program. And these are exclusive programs that I do for Queen City Women in Business. There's a whole website there for it. There's a 30-day program that will help you There's a 60-day program and there's an accelerator program that she has put the stamp of approval on and said fits within the model. These are for early business owners. But having said that, there's probably some people who have been in business for a while who can really benefit from somebody helping them answer these questions better, right? And so if that is you, I want you to go to csa-qcwib.com. When you go there, you'll see the page that shows these 3 different programs. And I am making available for this session 30% off of those programs. Now, these dovetail nicely into the supplier readiness program, because she can't get you supplier ready if you don't know what business you're in. It just can't happen. She's gonna struggle. And I'm gonna let Rachel do some of the other examples. But I want to offer that. And then finally, I'll just end with this, just because it's a big bug for me. I know it's a big bug for Donna Co. Don't be the best kept secret, right? If nobody knows you're in business, they can't do business with you. So don't be the best kept secret. You got to talk about what problem you solve. You got to talk about what's your unique value proposition. You got to talk about the results that you're making happen. It is important for you to do that. And so with that, I'm going to pass out to Rachel so that she can help you understand how to not be the best kept secret.
All right, good morning, Denise. That was so excellent. You would need to have done the things that Denise ran down with her before you would come to me. So once you have your ideal client, what you offer, what problem you solve, how you do it, once you have all of those things fleshed out, next, I would be able to take all of those things and put them into a digital online presence for your company. So let me ask you ladies a question to drop in the chat. What is your biggest current barrier to your brand presence online? What is it that your current barrier? Do you have a website? Do you not have a website? Are you unsure about your branding? So I want you to pay attention to not only my presentation, but how I present is kind of giving you, showing you how you're going to need to show up online. So I'm not just telling you about Rachel Rowell Design, what we can do to get your company brand presence ready and be something that can help you really win those big contracts. Because one thing that Queen City Women in Business knows is that if you've put in all the work, the time, the effort, and the money to get certified, but you don't have anywhere for these vendors to go and see who you are and what you're about online, you are already losing before you even start. If they go to your website and you don't have one, or it is poor quality, they're gonna go, it doesn't really look like they take themselves super seriously. I'm not sure we're gonna go with this person because they don't quite seem ready to move forward. So we have partnered together to help solve some of these barriers so that when you've done the work, you are ready to win these contracts. So your brand story, that's what needs to be communicated well online. A brand story must be strategic, it must be professional, and it needs to communicate the value that you bring to the marketplace. Now here you can see that I have some of my personal credentials listed. I'm not going to go through them all just for time's sake, but mainly I'm helping you set up, I'm setting up my credibility as a professional, and these are things that would need to be included in your brand presence. Because in this, you are communicating a story, and you want to tell the story because stories are exciting. Everyone loves listening to a story. It engages people, it hooks them to an experience, and then you're trying to get them to an end goal of buying from you. All right, so a brand story is personality driven. It's an entire evolution of who you are, what you're about, who you serve, and how you do it, what makes you different. So here you'll see Rachel Rowell Design Company. So this is what your brand story needs to clearly communicate, and the things that you would already need to have fleshed out with Denise before you're ready to move forward. Who you are, what you do. We're repeating a lot of the same things. You can see how it just comes into play. And then it's my job to communicate that online for you. Why should they trust you? That's social proof. What work have you done in the past? How are you showcasing that online? What makes you different? Okay. And then we're going to also cover just the critical elements of a successful online brand, how to tell your brand story, why this matters to you, our exclusive partnership offer with Queen City Women in Business, my unique value proposition, and then how you can partner with us. So who we are at Rachel Rowell Design Company. Again, keeping in mind, pay attention to how this is being delivered because this is something that you can use in your business. So it's really not about me giving you information about Rachel Rowell and Rachel Rowell Design, but it's showing you what are your clients wanting to see about your company. What we do professional company branding rebrands. We do website design and development. We do content writing, and we do marketing collateral. Okay. And then we're talking about how we do it. Okay. And that's showing up on the header of our website. So we have our logo, we have who we are and what we do. That should show up on the front page of a well done website. One of the things that we know is that today's commodity is people's attention. How many of you know we live in a TikTok society? So if you don't capture your client's attention literally within the first 3 seconds of them landing on your page, whether it's your social media or your website, you lose them because they click right off. If they get on your website and it's a mess, your messaging is not clear and precise, they're not sure where to go next to get what you're offering. They're not sure who you do it for. It doesn't look like you have a lot of social proof or experience. They're not going to stay on your website, and they're probably not going to click that buy here or book appointment here because your messaging is not very clear. So the front page of your website is the most important, and you want that messaging to be very clear about who we are, what we do. For like Rachel Rowell Design Company specifically, we are a boutique style digital marketing company that specializes in personalized company branding, website design, including SEO, and content writing. That's very clearly stated. We build strong company brand presences through soulful storytelling and thoughtful strategy. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is you should already have figured out who your ideal client is. Denise talked about that so beautifully. Who do you serve? And then it's our job to take that, who is your ideal client, and put that into something that is compelling for who your ideal client is. And then we've listed out specifically, Rachel Rowell Design is brand new business owners looking to establish a strong online brand presence. And then also professional company branding or rebrands who are looking to elevate their online brand presence. That is our target audience, and it's clearly stated in all of our marketing and on our website. Because again, like Denise said, if you serve everybody, then you serve nobody. And that was such a powerful statement, Denise. I love that you highlighted that. And then this is important to have on your website. This is talking about who you serve, but it's also your social proof. Okay. So it's fine to say, well, this is who we serve, but do you have testimonials? Do you have any kinds of photographs or some way to showcase past work you've done? What clients have you worked with? That needs to be communicated both in written words and visually to give them a taste of not just what you do and who you do it for, but your personality. Because one thing a lot of people don't realize, your brand is not your logo. Do you know that? Who knows what your brand actually is? Drop it in the chat. What is your brand actually? Because it's not your logo, it's not your color palette, your fonts, it's not even just your messaging. Your brand is, did anybody say it? Your brand is you.
Somebody said, so here, this is a good stopping point, Rachel, just to have some engagement with you. So someone's, I'm not calling names because I don't want to get in trouble. Someone says, I am my brand. Another person says, my product. Another person says, it's us. Another person says you. So go ahead, Rachel. Feel free to respond.
Absolutely. Your brand is you. So all of your online marketing needs to reflect you, your personality, because you have to remember, if you send potential clients, imagine your ideal dream client, say they've never met you in person. They're not a friend. They're not someone who knows how you are and that you would be incredible to work with. Well, all you have to rely on kind of as your sales funnel is your online brand presence. Your website, your socials has to be a cohesive reflection of not just what you do, who you serve, but who you are. And that is the essence of your brand. And then in the next one, you would talk about, and Denise mentioned this as well, your unique value proposition. That means what makes you different? How do you do what you do? Because there's plenty of people, all of us are in an industry that there is plenty of other people to choose from. So it's our job to convince your potential clients why they should work with you. That's your unique value proposition. In the case of Rachel Rowell Design, it's listed here in words, and in everything you see, website, my socials, you can see it visually. Like it's very easy to tell what kinds of clients I serve because the look and the messaging is very, very clear. What makes us unique? A personalized client experience, niche expertise, flexibility, direct access to the lead designer, because remember, we're a boutique style. We're not a big marketing agency with a large team, so you get that personal feel when you work with Rachel Rowell Design Company. Passion and commitment, white glove service, and we're big on building strong community relationships. So you want to make sure that that is showcased on your online presence. So, quick question. Who has a website or doesn't have well, if you have a website, say yes. And if you don't have a website, what is your barrier for not having that website up? What has been that thing that is standing in the way to getting that done? And we'll come back to some solutions to that later on. Does anybody have any questions while I'm at a stopping point?
Yeah, so this is great. No, so far everyone said yes, but you may want to ask Rachel, is it your website or are you using LinkedIn, or since that's a huge issue in our community? Yeah.
Right, because that's one of the things, and it's now a requirement for Queen City Women in Business that if you want to be listed in the business directory, you must have a website. We invite and welcome everyone to come in. We love that you have socials. That's vitally important as well, but you cannot rely on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram as your company website. That's a current thing that we're actually no longer allowing women that don't have a website. So we want to make sure that we get that barrier removed for you quickly and easily and financially very, very affordably, so that you don't have that barrier when you go to compete for contracts.
Hey, Rachel, I see a couple of women ask, can we just state why? Do you want to just state why, or do you want me to state why we changed that, why that's critical for what we're all going for?
My take on why it's critical, for one, is it establishes business credibility and legitimacy, so it keeps the group as a whole high level, so that we're all also doing business with each other as well. We're not just competing for contracts. So it helps to keep a standard of quality within the group. Dawn Nicole, you can add to that.
I'm going to add to that for sure, because I like when we share why something changed, I like for the women of this membership group to really understand what's happening behind the scenes. We had enough embarrassing moments in the last 2 months where a corporate buyer wanted to do business with a few of you and went to the website and it didn't exist, or either it was misspelled, or either it was a Facebook site that wasn't relevant. And so in order for us to grow nationwide and get the corporate partners we want, we have to increase the standard. Also, they're not going to do business. I'm just being honest. They're going to exclude you out if you have a Facebook, because it means you haven't done the work, right, to compete at the higher levels. Remember, we're competing with mammoth companies as small women in business suppliers. So it starts with showing up. So so Rachel, to your point, you do have some questions in the chat if now's a good time for some engagement.
Yes, go
All
ahead.
right, so there are tons of questions actually, so I'll keep it down to like 2 or 3. Michelle Williams asked a good question. I'll start with hers. It says, can you clarify the point that our site should appeal to our ideal client? Was that just in making sure the messaging was clear, or what? What do you mean by that?
Okay,
And,
so go ahead.
and then the second question, just so you're thinking about both, the second question is, how does a startup compensate for a lack of social proof? If I just started, what can I use? Great question.
That's
All
a
right.
great question. So for the first question, so let's just use the example of a hair salon, for example. Say they want to be an upscale hair salon. That's their goal. They want to attract upscale clients. They're interested in a specific niche. Okay, so their messaging, their wording, their graphics, their images on their website needs to appeal to a higher end clientele. Like when they land on your website, they would need to see, okay, this is a high end establishment, and that helps narrow down the people that would come to you, and that's a good thing, because you don't want everybody, like Denise said, you want to narrow it down. So I recommend really getting very clear on even the demographics, the geographical location, the everything about your ideal client literally needs to be painted out in detail, down to like, is she age 30 through 50? Like what season of life might she be in? And then the website, what is on there, the messaging, which is the way the wording is done, and the graphics need to appeal to that specific kind of ideal client. Hopefully that helps to clarify that.
Yeah.
And then as well as if you're brand new and just getting started and you don't have a lot of social proof, every business experiences that. And so in the beginning, obviously you want to be honest and authentic and obviously not make up. So it is hard in the beginning when you've not had your first clients to do that. It depends on what your industry is. Even if you just have some photographs of you doing what you do on your website. Say you don't have client testimonials yet, but you've got photos of, this is me doing that thing that I do. Put them on there so that gives you credibility, so that they can see that you're actually building your business. And then when you get those first few customers and clients, send them an email and ask them, please rate me on Google. Give me a Facebook testimonial. And then you immediately take those and you create you a testimonial section on the website. And those generally are easy to get. If your first 5 clients are relatively pleased with your service, that's pretty easy to do. We good there?
We are good. Yes.
All right. So business clarity, the 4 things that your brand should communicate. I'm going to move fast because we're short on time. Who you are. These are the things, again, what you do, who you do it for, how you do it. You want to flesh these out very well. You're not ready for a online brand presence if you have not fleshed those out very, very thoroughly. So the elements of building a successful online business are all these things. These are the vehicles, the website, the logo, the imaging, the messaging, the social media, the site engine optimization. But at the heart of it all is your brand story. Remember, you are your brand, and how you and what you do is communicated online, that is your brand story. And those are the vehicles that you do it through. Again, you have 3 seconds to convince a new website viewer to stay, and then every 5 seconds, you have to give them another reason to stay. Okay? So it's not enough to get them for the first 3 seconds and scroll. Like, your website has to have a cohesive flow that makes sense all the way from that first hero image to that final call to action where you're trying to get them to that point of sale. And then in the next one, we are talking about, again, we're just restating who we are, what we do, why you should trust us. Again, your website it's usually multiple pages, but it should restate these things several different times. As you know, it takes people about 7 times of seeing messaging to make a sale. So you want your website to restate obvious points in different and creative ways. So what we do is Rachel Rowell Design Company, visual identity and engagement with your community are essential to a thriving business. So we help bring clarity and direction to how your business interacts with your community. Now, why it matters. We kind of already covered that when talking about why it matters so much with Queen City Women and Business members. You can't really move forward without these things. And the good thing is that we're not leaving you alone to figure out how to make this happen on your own. We have partnered together to offer exclusive package offerings to the Queen City Women in Business members only. So the offerings that you're going to see are packaged up. There's 3 tiers, and they are at ridiculously discounted price points, making it affordable for almost anybody, whether you're a new business owner getting things established for the first time, or whether you're an existing business owner realizing, hey, I really need to scale up my online presence and really work on that a little bit more. Because who has ever had this happen where you are so proud of what you do and then someone says, what's your website? And you just kind of go, I've been working on that. It's a work in progress. So I'll give it to you, but just know that I'm not really, it's not the best. Wrong answer. You have when they hear that, they automatically are like, she does not take what she does very seriously, because your website is basic. Like, that is the most basic principle for online branding. And so we have packaged this up, and I'm going to drop the links in the chat in just a moment so that you can easily.
I just did it for
Okay,
you.
thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So that you can easily access it. There's 3 tiers, and it tells you exactly what each of them offers. I'm not going to go over them right now, but you'll easily be able to see that. And they're exclusive to you. So don't share this with all of your friends and family unless they're planning on joining Queen City Women in Business, because these pricings are drastically reduced to make it possible for you ladies to be able to build or elevate your online brand.
Awesome.
So there's also a QR code there, which you shouldn't need, because I think she said that she dropped the link in the chat there. And so if you're ready to elevate or design and build your online brand, and in a way that captures your ideal audience and leads them through a brand story on your website, feel free to reach out to me. You will deal with me personally. That's the one thing, is I do all client relations in my business. So you'll be working directly with me to, once you've gone through Denise and fleshed out what material needs to be on the website, I can put it together for you digitally and build a beautiful and compelling brand presence online. Thank you, ladies, so much.
Thanks, Donna. I appreciate that. So a lot of times we see business owners come in, and one of the greatest things that I heard the first time I heard Dawn speak was, if you think that you're in the wrong place because you haven't started your structure yet, or you haven't got your ducks in a row, you're wrong. You're in the right place. And what we've come to find out, being partnered up with Queen City Women in Business, is they've got every step of the way covered. And some of the things that we see that people miss out on sometimes is that they're out there doing the thing, they're in business, but they're not really in business. And so we know it can be daunting sometimes when you're starting a business to understand what you need, how to structure yourself, how to set yourself up. But when you're wanting to grow, it's important to know these things, what type of entity you need, how to switch from one to the other as you're moving through your business path, and why you need to know this. And you hear everybody out there say, get an LLC and you can get all this funding, but it's not necessarily the right way for everybody to set up. It's the first tier to get you in the door as a business entity, but it's not recognized as a corporation. So you'll hear LLC, LLP, limited liability company, limited liability partnership. Those are your first steps into business entity and your first working with Secretary of State's where you're located. From there, you're going to hear S corporations, C corporations, and then we have nonprofits. S corps are like your tier of growth. Once you hit $25,000 in revenue, you definitely want to be either taxed as an S corp or set up as an S corp. So a lot of my clients, when they come in, we're talking through these things because we see the holes and the mistakes that they're making. And with the S corps, you also have shares of stock, you're having a board of directors, and you've got payroll. People stop to think about all of these things and they're like, why is that important? It's important to think about the taxes and how everything's going to affect you. in the long run. And then when we get to the C Corps, where you've got 2 types of stock and you also have payroll, people are like, isn't that double taxation? It's all in the way that you got it set up. And the misconception is, the LLC is the way to go because you're getting around that, but that's actually where you're getting the double taxation in. You're actually paying self-employment taxes for being self-employed, and then you're bringing that income back to your 1040s and getting taxed on it again as your income. So we walk through steps to figure out, why do we need to be different entities and why do we need the setup? Because as you're making money, you want to get rid of that self-employment tax. I see a lot of people that are making $200,000-300,000 in their businesses. They're paying exorbitant amounts of self-employment tax. If they put themselves on payroll by becoming a corporation, they actually can alleviate a lot of that stuff. And then having everything positioned properly and walking through how you get all of this stuff set up, you actually will alleviate a lot of your taxation when it comes down to it. And then with the nonprofits, a lot of times when you're becoming larger corporations, you're going to want to have a nonprofit that's set up so that you can give back to the community. And it's another way to flow money and alleviate some of the taxes. And then knowing that you need an EIN number. The EIN is kind of like the Social Security number for your business, and it allows your business to take, I can't even talk today, sorry, I get excited about this stuff. It allows you to take control of your business so that you're actually filing on that. And when you have an EIN and you're not just a sole proprietor on your taxes, you're going to see you get a tax break in there, because there's a lot of things you can do as a business that you can't do as a person. And then with COVID and all the funds that came in, we've got the new CTA, which is the Corporate Transparency Act that came in. So if you're a new business starting up this year, you have 90 days from the time that you register with Secretary of State to register with FinCEN, and then take that number to go to the beneficial ownership interest report and complete that. Anybody that's 25% owner in a business or more, you have to register with the FinCEN and get that registration done on their BOIR site.
Mary,
if you're an existing, I'm sorry, Dawn, go ahead.
No, that's okay. I was just going to ask, can you talk a little bit about what is FinCEN? I know it's new and most business owners don't even know what just happened, what that is. Can you just touch on that for us real fast?
Absolutely. So This is actually something that they've been tossing around for the last few years, but because of COVID and all the different monies that were available, that people were taking advantage of funds and not necessarily using them for the purpose of growing their business or keeping their business open. They brought FinCEN in, and FinCEN is the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. And so people who are in banking, we've heard of this for a long time because it's something that we've had to register with and keep up with all of their updates and mandates. But now it's affecting corporations. And so people who are exempt are going to be the banks, the insurance companies, trusts, and nonprofits. But if you're a for-profit business that does not fit those 4 categories, you've got to register with them now. And they've brought in fines and stuff. So it's literally $500 a day fine that they can impose on you. There's a cap on it. I think it's $15,000. I have to go back and check what the latest is on that. And then it can also include imprisonment if we don't register, because what they're trying to do is eliminate the straw man, the fake companies that are out there that are taking advantage of money that's designed to help small business owners who are legitimately in business to grow. And then once you've got the FinCEN and the EIN and all of that stuff knocked out, it's important to also think about registering with Duns & Bradstreet. They're one of the largest credit reporting entities for business owners, and it's one of the major places that when people are checking credit for your business that they're looking for. So if you're planning on applying for funding and stuff, definitely register with them, and then have a business plan put together. And I always tell people you need 2. The 2-pager that's like your cheat sheet of this is what I want to accomplish and bullet points on how to get there, and then the detailed one that you create from there that is going to take you far. When you're applying for grants and loans and those types of things, they want to see what's your plan and how are you going to get there.
Mary,
Make sure that you've got it.
we have a question, and I know the time is ticking, so I want to make sure that we get questions in too, if that's okay. Someone is asking
Absolutely.
you. Yep, someone is asking, hey, this is interesting to me. I'm currently an LLC. How easy is it for me to change to an S Corp or C Corp if I needed to? Can you just tackle that real fast?
That is super easy. And if you need help, just reach out to us later and we'll be happy to walk you through that. But literally, it's filling out a conversion form and telling them that you want to take your current LLC to that next level. And then you just have to know if it's going to be S Corp or C Corp. And you fill that out, you pay the registration fee. Here in North Carolina, it's $125. And it literally can be done online and takes them a couple of days to knock that out for you. Then it's filling out the form from there for IRS to convert your taxification code over to the corporation. So it's super easy to do. And then just reiterating, have a business bank account, because the whole point in being in business is to be separate from your personal. Don't transfer money back and forth between personal and business accounts. If you're paying yourself or paying personal bills, write yourself a check and deposit it into your personal account, but keep that separate at all times. You need a business address, a physical location. If you're an online entity, you can go to the UPS store and get a physical address, but something that's different than your home address. A business phone number, and then as Rachel was saying earlier, you need a web presence because people want to know, where can they find you? Are you legit? So it's just knowing the different things that go into making up a business entity as a whole and getting it ready, and then hitting Denise and hitting Rachel up for the next steps after that so that we can help you explode. And we've got a lot of resources with Queen City that you ladies really need to check out and take advantage of.
Awesome, thank you. I know we're close to time, Mary B, so feel free to, we'll let you go ahead and run through whatever you need.
That was it. You just wanted me to kind of cover what they needed in the structures.
Yeah,
And they can always follow up with any of us for additional information, but I wanted to keep it short and sweet and kind of give people a little insight, because a lot of times we don't know what we don't know.
No, this is really good. And so the questions that are coming in, here's what we'll do, ladies, in the interest of time. First of all, thank you to our speakers. I just want to give y'all a quick, like we always clap it up for our speakers. Can y'all just show them some love real fast as we're ending? I just want to say thank you all for taking your time out on this Saturday. And I just wanted to remind everyone that we do have the Supplier Readiness online training program that covers much of what you need to become supplier ready. So it is a training program you all already have access to. And because you attended this series, you get it for 30% off.